Okay, let's go to the market. So really important when we're speaking about food that we need to go to the markets and buy the ingredients to make a special meal or a local meal that is from your country. So going to the markets is one of the things that you will experience when you come to a new country. And especially in an English-speaking country, you need to know what are common expressions to ask for what you need when you go to the markets. Okay, so let's go to the markets. We've got a bit of reading, so we'll read and practice our English, talking about 5 of the top markets around the world. And then we'll look at the grammar. We'll look at words like a lot of, much, and many, and also quantities and quality. So how do we know quantity? We want to ask how much we want of something or how many. Okay, so this is what a lot of learners confuse these words, or how to properly say how much of something that they want or how many. Okay, so let's go to the markets and practice, ordering, asking for what we need and replying, and, making sure that we can use correct grammar and expressions. Really important to also know, how to say thank you, or, what are the common expressions for speaking when you're at the market. Okay, so we have a reading. As I said, we're going to read, and it's at a food market. So let's read together. I'll read and then you can read after me. And as I said, then we'll look at some grammar and expressions. Okay, so top 5 food markets. Okay, so let's read together. Food markets are great places to find interesting local food. Here are our top 5 markets from around the world. Number 1, St. Lawrence, Toronto, Canada. St. Lawrence Food Market in Toronto is 200 years old. There are a lot of shops with every kind of meat and seafood. Castries Market, St. Lucia. Naturally, this island in the Caribbean has a market famous for fish and fruit. Try the local sauce. It's very hot and spicy. Creta Air Wet Market. Singapore. There's a lot of different food here. And there's also a great restaurant upstairs. Go at around 6 a.m. and have some tasty noodles for breakfast. La Verrucheria, Palermo, Italy. There aren't many markets in the world with live music, but in Palermo, musicians play and sing as shoppers buy their sausages and fresh pasta. Boar Market, London, England. Boar Market is 1,000 years old and famous with food lovers. It's open every day, but try to go early. It's very popular. So there isn't Much food left by the end of the day. Okay, good. So where do you like shopping for food? So some people will go to the supermarkets. Some people will go to the markets. So the markets are great because you can save money. There's lots of options and it's a more interesting environment. You can meet people, you can talk to the people selling the food more. There's more conversations that you can have there and there's lots to see. Or you could go to lots of different shops on the main street. Or maybe you don't like shopping, but markets are really good. And as you see, we read 5 markets from around the world. Okay, so now that we've read it, how old is St. Lawrence Market? St. Lawrence Market, 200 years old. That was the one in Toronto, Canada. What food can you buy in St. Lawrence Market? You can buy meat and seafood. What is hot in Castries Market? The hot and spicy local sauce. Remember the local sauce. What is upstairs at Creta Air Wet Market? What is upstairs? That's in Singapore. There is a restaurant upstairs. What can you hear in La Vucceria? That was in Italy. You can hear musicians, so people playing instruments. So when you go to this market, people are playing instruments. That's really nice. What days in is Boer Market open? Boer Market is open every day. Perfect, every day. Okay, so let's have a look at some grammar. As I said, we've got these words that are very common, a lot of. Much and many. So a lot of is used in positive sentences, which we call affirmative, or negative sentences or questions. So what does that mean? There are a lot of, and then you say the countable noun. So remember in the last lesson, we talked about countable and uncountable nouns. So if I said, there are a lot of apples, there are a lot of bananas here. There are a lot of, so whatever I can see, and there's so much of them, there's a lot of, and then I say the noun. Now, I also say there is a lot of, and the uncountable noun. So there's a lot of bread. Remember these words, the uncountable noun, bread, cheese, milk. So the same thing, there is a lot of milk in this fridge. There's a lot of bread at this market. There's a lot of cheese at this market. Okay, so when I'm saying that there is a lot of something. Now, we can also, the affirmative sentence, we can also use it in questions. So, do you eat a lot of apples? That's a question. Do you eat a lot of bread? Do you eat a lot of cheese? Do you eat a lot of chicken? Okay, so if I ask someone, if they eat a lot of, which means like many, and the noun. Okay, the noun can be countable. Remember, we can count it like apples, 1 apple, 2 apple, 3 apple, 4 apple, or maybe uncountable, like bread, cheese, milk. And we can respond to this question. So do you eat a lot of apples? You could say, no, I don't. So no, I don't is the negative to respond. Or you could say, yes, I do. Or you could say, no, not a lot of, not many. I eat a lot of bread. So that's a positive sentence. I eat a lot of bread. Okay, so a lot of, it just means many. Okay, used in positive sentences, negative, and questions. Now, let's have a look at some of these words here. There's a lot of different food. There's a lot of shops here. Negative, there aren't many markets. So the negative is there aren't many markets. So in the negative, of this one is there isn't a lot of. So let's write that one. There isn't a lot of, which is the same as saying there aren't many. So there isn't a lot of markets in my city, maybe something like that. There isn't a lot of apples here. Okay, so isn't a lot of is the negative. Or if it's plural, that's if it's singular, you would say there aren't a lot of. And make sure in the plural, aren't a lot of, that we have that S because it's plural. Or singular, isn't a lot of. And you can see that there's no S here. Okay, so that's how we say these in the negative. So it depends if it's singular or if it's plural. Okay, we also have the question. So we said, do you eat a lot of apples? So that was our example. Do you eat a lot of apples? No, not a lot of. We looked at the response. No, not a lot of, or you could say no, not many. And we use many. You could see it's almost very similar to a lot of, but much is only used with uncountable nouns in the negative and questions. So for example, I don't eat much cheese. Okay, remember uncountable words like cheese, bread, milk. So I don't eat much cheese as the negative, or I don't like much cheese on my pasta. Or in questions, do you eat much cheese? So that's a question that I can ask here. Do you eat much cheese? And many is with countable only. So I have many apples in the fridge. I have many bananas. I have a lot of bananas. Okay, so some of the rules, we use a lot of when we talk about both countable and uncountable nouns in positive sentences. We use many in countable and uncountable, but in negative and questions. We use much in uncountable, so if it's negative and questions. So let's have a look at some examples. So number 4, we use a lot of. We use a lot of with countable and uncountable. We use many, I could see many, with countable nouns. We use much, okay, with uncountable nouns. We use a lot of and much with questions and negative. Okay, so let's practice by rewriting some sentences. So if I said, I don't eat a lot of fast food, I can also say, I don't eat much fast food. Okay, so I don't eat much fast food. So you could say, I don't eat a lot of or much. You could use whichever one you want. I don't eat much fast food. eats a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. So I can't really change that sentence. So when I talk about someone else, so he eats, remember maybe my husband, he eats, or my son, we put an S to the verb, to the action in the present simple. So he eats a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. So I can't really put any other word because this is a positive sentence and we know only the positive we say a lot of. He eats a lot of bread, he eats a lot of tomatoes, he eats a lot of junk food, he eats a lot of healthy food. Okay, so in a positive sentence, I only can say a lot of. I can't say he eats much or he eats many. No, only positive sentence with a lot of. Okay, so this one was really important, a lot of. Number 3, there aren't a lot of local markets in my region. So in the negative, I can also say there aren't many. Say there aren't many. Okay, so this is a negative. There aren't many local markets in my region. That means in my area where I live. So you could say there aren't many or there aren't a lot of. Okay, so we could see here, this is a negative sentence. So we could say there aren't many. And region just means in my area where I live, near my home. Number 5, there isn't, so another negative sentence, there isn't a lot of, now we can say there isn't much milk because this is an uncountable noun in the fridge. Okay, so there isn't a lot of, or you could say much, because this is, remember, an uncountable noun. There isn't much milk, there isn't much bread, there isn't much cheese. Okay, all those words that are uncountable, you must learn them. So any word, any noun, any food that is uncountable, I can put it here. There isn't much, or I can say there isn't a lot of milk. Number 6, my family buys a lot of food from the supermarkets. Now we can only say a lot of because it's a positive sentence. So I can't put any other word. My family buys a lot of food from the supermarkets or from the supermarket. Okay, a lot of. Number 7, she doesn't. So this is a negative sentence. She doesn't put a lot of. Now I can also say she doesn't put much salt on her food. And I know that this is uncountable because the word salt is uncountable. So we could say a lot of or much. She doesn't put much cheese on her food. She doesn't put much salt on her food. And the last one, it's a question. Do you eat a lot of? Now in questions, as we know, we can use many with countable or uncountable. So strawberries is countable. So do you eat a lot of or do you eat many strawberries in summer? Okay, we know that when we talk about a negative, a positive sentence is I eat. Negative sentence is like saying I don't eat many or I don't eat much. Now remember, many is for countable, but much is only for uncountable. If you say, I don't eat much bread, I don't eat much cheese. Okay, we're gonna listen to a short little audio where some people are at the market. So we're going to hear which market. Remember, we did some reading. We're going to see which market is our audio, the person that's speaking. Which market are they in, and how many bananas do they buy? How many kilos of rice, and how many bottles of sauce? Okay, so let's quickly do this one, and then we will look at the answers.
Track 52, Unit 5B. Hello, can I help you?
Yes, I'd like some bananas, please.
These are nice and fresh.
Okay.
How many bananas do you want?
6, please.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, I need some rice.
How much rice do you want? A kilo?
Yes, a kilo, please.
Here you go. And what about some of this sauce? It's local.
Is it hot?
Yeah, it's hot, but it goes with anything.
Yes, okay.
How many do you want?
Just 1 bottle. Oh, actually, 2. I can take 1 back to England. And I also need some bread. Do you sell any?
No, but there's a place on the other side of the market. So, that's 6 bananas, a kilo of rice, 2 bottles of sauce. That's gonna be
Okay, which market were they at? They were at the St. Lucia market. Okay, the St. Lucia market. Remember, that was the market that we read that was in the Caribbeans, famous for fish and fruit and their local sauce. How many bananas does he buy? 6. Good. He buys 6 bananas. How many kilos of rice does he buy? 1 kilo. Perfect. And how many bottles of sauce does he buy? 2. Then he changes. He said 1 first, and after he changes his mind and says 2. Okay, really quickly before we have a break, let's have a look at these. If I say number 9, a bottle of sauce. So remember, we need to use measurements with our uncountable nouns. So we've got uncountable nouns. So we say bottle of sauce. You could say a bottle of orange juice, a bottle of sauce. Number 2, a piece of chocolate. So a piece just means like a tiny little piece of chocolate. Number 3, a slice. What would you say? A slice of pizza. Okay, so you could see it could be a slice of pizza, a slice of cake. Number 4, a glass of. We say a glass of water. If you want a glass of wine, a glass of apple juice, whatever the drink is, that's uncountable. We have to say a glass of. Number 5, a packet of pasta. So when it's in plastic, a packet of pasta. Okay, a packet of chips, a packet of anything that's in a plastic thing. And a tin of tuna. So if it's in that aluminium, you know, like tin, a tin of tuna, a tin of sardines. Number 7, a kilo, so that means 1 kilo, a kilo of flour, or maybe a kilo of rice. Okay, remember these are uncountable nouns. So we don't say, you know, 1 rice, 1 flour, 2 flours, 3 flours. we have to use a measurement. 2 kilos of flour, 3 kilos of flour, 4 kilos of flour. And the last one, a bag of rice. If it's in anything that looks like a bag of chips, a bag of rice. Okay, really quickly, how many and how much? So again, we want to ask questions, okay? Questions with how and negative. So I use many. So for example, how many and countable. So how many apples do you want? So when you say, oh, I want some apples, and the market person will say, okay, how many apples do you want? How many bananas do you want? How many capsicums do you want? How many cucumbers? Okay, so make sure it's plural and it's countable. How many? And then whatever the word is. Now, if it's uncountable, we need to add that measurement to say how many. So how many grams of rice do you want? How many kilos of flour do you need? How many kilos of rice, flour? Yep, so remember, these are uncountable nouns. Now, much is only used with uncountable. Sorry, this one, let's go back a bit to many. Many is used in negatives. So I don't have many apples. Remember, countable, I don't have any bananas. I don't have any rice. I don't have any flour. I don't have any pasta. I don't have any sauce. Now, much is with uncountable questions, again with how, but in a negative as well. So how much rice do you want? It's only uncountable. So you got to use your uncountable words. How much bread do you want? How much flour? How much pasta? How much water do you want? Or negative, there isn't much bread in the cupboard. There isn't much flour. Okay, so I know it's a little confusing. If we look at the grammar box, number 11, how many apples? Okay, last sentences, how many apples would you like? So we can see this is a question. It's a very polite question. How many apples? Apples is countable. So how many apples would you like? Number 2, how much sugar do you want? Now we can also say how many grams of sugar do you want? So how much sugar or how many grams of sugar? Okay, so you can pick which one you want to say. If you want to put the measurement, how many grams of sugar or how much sugar? Remember, this was uncountable. Remember all those words? So look back at the last lesson if you don't remember which words were uncountable. Number 3, how many tins, yep, of tuna? And we know how many. It is uncountable, this one as well. 4 tins. Yep, so that's how you respond when someone asks you how many of tins of tuna. I need 4 tins, or you could just say 4. How many packets? How many packets of pasta? Uncountable. How much cheese? Now again, you could say how much cheese, or you could use the measurement. How many grams of cheese? So if you use the measurement, you need to respond with the measurement. So how many grams of cheese? 500 grams of cheese. A kilo, please. These are just some more examples of how we speak when we use these words, you know, many and much and how questions. I have taken so many orders today. So if you're working in a shop and you're selling things, I have taken so many orders today. I have taken so much of your time. Thank you so much. What are some? Remember with nouns? So what are some of your favorite dishes? What are some of your favorite meals? You can ask your friend, you know, what are some? So it means we're talking about many, like not, you don't tell me all of them, just what are some of your favorite meals? We talked about how many and how much. Now remember how much, when you're talking about how much, you need to, you could also say how much with the uncountable noun. But also, if you remember here, how much with the uncountable, but you could say, you could talk about money, you know, how much money do you have? You could talk about your weight. How much do you weigh, your body? Okay, 50 kilos, 60 kilos. How much time do you have is a very common expression. Do you have a lot of time? How much time do you have? Or percentage, for example, on your test, you know, how much did you get on your test, on your exam? How much did you get? Okay, let's practice a conversation at a market. I'll just give you a really quick conversation because as I said, you're going to be going to the markets and asking for food. So this is an example. A says, hello, how can I help you? So it's common, you know, a person will say, how can I help you? Would you like some help? Do you need any help? You could respond, yes. So how can I help you? Do you have any pasta? So remember, we use any in questions. It means not one or two, just any. Do you have any pasta? That's uncountable. Do you have any bread? Or a polite way is, I would like some apples, thanks. So we put thanks at the end. I would like some bread, thanks. I would like some cheese, thanks. Now we don't know how much, we just want some. So when you say, I want some, the person's going to ask you, how many? Okay, how many apples do you want? Or they could say, what kind of pasta? If there's lots of different kinds of pasta, there's spaghetti, there's linguine, you know, there's different kinds, different types. So they could say, what kind of pasta do you want? Or how many apples do you want? Okay, so I'd like some apples. Let's practice this one because, okay, so A could say, okay, how many apples do you want? Now, polite way is, would you like? Would you like? So much better, more polite, more professional. And this person, B, can say 3 kilos, thanks. Okay, so again, we like to put the thanks at the end of the sentence. So 3 kilos, thanks. Or you could just say 3 apples, thanks. Yes.
You can say 3 kilo, please.
2 kilos, please. Yeah. So any number, 2 kilos, 5 kilos. Yeah. Or 5 apples.
I 10, please.
10
10. 3 kilo, 10.
is about
3 kilo, please.
3 kilos, please. Yeah, exactly. Good. So thanks or good, please. 3 kilos, please. And again, please. So it's very polite. It's nice. And we put those words at the end. Now, A is going to ask, would you like anything else? So very common expression. Do you need anything else? Would you like anything else? So especially when you're serving someone, you don't just want to quickly give them what they want and that's it. You want to say, oh, anything else? Okay, so we could say, would you like anything else? Or it could be anything else. So maybe you'll hear someone say to you, anything else is the same. It's a short way to say, would you like anything else? Now, again, you have to say yes or no. So if you want, you could say no, thanks. Or you could say yes, I would like whatever it is. So yes, I would like some bananas as well. Yes, I would like some bread. Okay, so remember, yes, I would like some, and then whatever it is. And if that's the last of your order, you could say, and that's all, thanks. So that means you're letting the person at the market know that that's it. I don't want anything else. That's that's all. That's everything. And that's everything, thanks. Okay, so we like to say a lot of this word. Okay, that will be $10, thanks. Okay, so they're going to ask you for money. And you can say something like, can I pay by card? So maybe you don't have cash. Can I pay by card? Is a very common expression because now not a lot of people have cash anymore. Okay, so they have it on their card. And again, the person can respond, yes, you can. Or maybe they could say, sorry, no, we only take cash. Okay, I think one more example here. So Diego says, I would like to make a Hawaiian pizza this evening. What do you think? Anna says, sounds good. Okay, so when we like someone's idea, we say sounds good, sounds great. Okay, very common, sounds great. Diego says, okay, well, we need some ingredients because my fridge is empty. And he's laughing, giggling. Can you buy a kilo of cheese and 500 grams of tomatoes from Coles? Okay, so from the place, from the markets, whatever place you want to put here, from the markets, or you could put the name of the shopping center from Coles. Anna says, sure. Okay, so when we want to say yes, we say sure. Diego says, and we need some pineapples and spinach. Anna says, perfect. Let me go to the markets and in 30 minutes, we can start making it. Diego says, great, let's do it. Okay, so that's two friends wanting to make a meal together. Okay, so we have been going to the markets. I hope now you know how to be more confident when you ask for what you want. You know lots of vocabulary with food, and especially your countable and uncountable nouns. Okay, so if it has a measurement, if it's uncountable, you need to say a kilo of rice, a packet of pasta. Or if it's uncountable, I need 2 bananas, five apples. Okay, so all these words, how much, that means like, how many do you want? How much? We looked at that as well. So a lot of grammar and just common expressions. So, you know, it's always nice to be polite when you say thanks at the end of your sentence. And you can say, sure. Do you need anything else? Or you could say, yes, I would also like something. And at the end, we always say, you know, thank you, have a great day. Okay, so when you finished buying your ingredients, you can say thank you, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. The person can say, see you again, see you soon. You can say thank you, see you soon. So that's it, going to the markets. So I hope you are more confident with going to the markets.